Relationships will take you places.
If I were to give you this is the formula, I would first say that you need to understand the business. You need to go create your business infrastructure. Number one, Ty Fontaine knew every element about his business. He knew who got paid, who recorded, who did what the percent was, what the breakdown was, what the timeline on when this contract was supposed to be up, who was the person that did it. When it was time to transfer over, he gave me every single element outline, boom, 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 from himself. God really sat me down and he was like, let me get this straight. My validation is not enough.
It's like, I can't move. And the last rap battle is like, it's like Papa Doc versus Eminem. Welcome to In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things right here in the DMV area. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very special guest that came with her best boots on today. Yes. These joints are absolutely fire. Ladies and gentlemen, P did that. Miss P, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I cannot complain. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for responding to my DM, because I know that don't happen too often.
No, it's all good. We got connected through a solid mutual, so that was the easy.
Relationships, y'all. Relationships will take you places. Yeah. So you are a creative consultant, right?
Yes.
I've been doing some research and some homework and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So number one, how did you get into what it is that you do right now in regards to creative consultant? And before you answer, I'm going to say, so I like to educate on here, right?
Yes.
Because somebody needs your services, number one. Number two, somebody also wants to do what it is that you're trying to do.
Okay.
So I want to be able to help both of those people out.
Okay.
Today. Can we do that?
Sure.
All right, let's help the people. Let's go.
Okay, so number one, it was by accident.
Okay.
That's how I got here 7 years ago. But truthfully, I say accident, but helping a friend is how I got here.
Okay.
My background is in the legal field. That's what I studied in college. I did not have any plans or aspirations to be in music, entertainment, whatsoever. And so a friend of mine was looking for help with organizing their studio and their personal business structure as a producer. So I agreed to do that, and that took me on a journey that is now 7 years later. This is where I'm at, and I love what I do.
I love it. Okay, so so I want to get a little bit deeper into it, right?
Okay.
So you say that they wanted help structuring a producing studio.
Right. So he was a producer and wanted help structuring from being a producer that traveled, like with all his equipment and stuff, to different clients, to being in a facility that would then become his home-based studio, kind of build it out, be able to hire engineers to work, build that clientele.
Right.
And then we actually got as far as creating an educational curriculum to where people who are interested in being engineers or producers actually wrote a curriculum for the program that was under the studio.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack there. We're going to try to unpack it one thing at a time. So how did you even know how to do this? Granted, you were in the legal field, but were you, like, I would imagine, like, family legal is different than entertainment legal is different than corporate legal.
Yeah. So, and it's funny you said family, because my background, I actually started in family law. That's literally where I started in.
Okay.
So, but the principle is the same for me, because the thing was, I wanted to impact the legal system in a way that supported the Black and brown communities, that supported the fathers, actually educated them on what was going on to allow them a fighting chance when it came to their families and different stuff.
Shout out to you. We need more of you.
Listen, it was a process, and I
felt personally helped when she said
that. Because it was like you realize the disparity in that, and when it comes to kids and people's family, I'm just like these men. Like, I'm a daddy's girl, right? I had an amazing father. I have an amazing father. I saw amazing fathers all around me. Even my relationship at that time when I was working at the courthouse, it was a father who was going through this, and I'm watching the system that he not only worked for, right, working against him in a way that just makes no sense. So
crazy.
Yeah, so it was a process for that. I ended up getting out of that once I became a mom myself, and during that time when I was at home, it was like, okay, well, how do I Like, what's next for me? Like, I just felt very much in a rut. I felt like this was a burden that no matter how far I got, I was not able to do it. It was just horrible. So I needed to kind of recalibrate. And that's where this opportunity came in. And it was similar. The same thing was to create structure and foundation to help these creators understand the business that they're in, understand what's going on, what it means to like have the business side of music attached to your creation.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And you know what, we're gonna unpack that heavily because I'm a poet as well as a speaker, and I think what I notice and what I see in a lot of poets is that they fall in love with the creativity and the art, and they don't equally fall in love with the business side of what they're doing. When in actuality, you got to be able to have a great relationship with both of them, I believe, or have someone like yourself who has a great relationship with business. Now, I don't know the music business. I know a little bit of the poetry business, maybe.
It's art. I actually wrote a book, an anthology of poetry when I was in elementary school, and it was published. That was my first book. I was going
to ask you, were you an artist? Like, do you write as well?
So I do. So to your point, there's two ways that I look at it.
Okay.
If you don't want to understand the business, that's fine. Just be a hobbyist. Like, that's what I say. If you want to just do the art just as an outlet for you, beautiful. Hold that, keep that, do that.
Right.
But if you start getting it into circulation, you're doing yourself a disservice, and technically it's like you're not respecting your own art if you don't understand the business. You can't complain about what happens to you if you decide to just put it out there with no protection. Like, I don't get the two.
Listen, y'all better get y'all notepads. Yeah. We're only 6 minutes in, but you better get your notepads. Okay, so you help this artist, right?
Yeah, producer.
You help producer. Excuse me. Yeah, you help this producer. They open their studio.
Yes.
Okay. How long until you get your next artist or next producer or next client? Like when do you say, let me try this again? Did somebody else come to you?
So here's the thing with that. And this actually was something that became like a friction point. It was a pain point for the two of us, because the way that he saw it and what was on my heart, I was like, I can't do that. Like, he was like, well, you have to do this, that, and the third. And it was very much structured around him.
Okay.
Right? Which then put me in a position of being management for that one person and entity.
Yep.
So in that process, I'm like, okay, I get you. However, in order for me to handle this, the people that are coming to you that are in this business process, they don't understand. So I can't put a contract that benefits you or takes care of you without also educating the person that's going to be in it, because this is our community.
Right.
It's not like these are just random people and they like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
So I would be very deliberate in taking the time to talk to all the artists that would come through, or talk to people that he was collaborating with. And then it was like, okay, well, you're putting too much effort there. And I'm like, we're supposed to be building
the artists, right?
We're supposed to be building this community. We're building this studio. Right. How can we have a studio banner where the people underneath it are not educated or understanding what they're committing to? I'm not going to be a part of that.
Gotcha.
So he was like, it's fine. So we used to go back and forth about that, but he understood. He was just like, juggling both. But in me juggling both, that's me committing now to both sides. So it was a lot.
You still work with him now?
So we have parted ways in terms of business.
Okay.
And he's very successful. He's doing very well.
Beautiful.
I'm very successful, doing very well. So God is good on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Okay. So you start working with some other artists who are coming into the studio. You start educating them. Okay. Let's say let's say I know someone who wants to be a rapper.
Okay.
I want to put out music. I want to put out, they don't call them albums no more. They call them projects. I think that's the new thing.
I call them an album because we're making long lasting work around here.
I'm with you on that. Like, everybody just be like, yeah, I got a project coming out. I'm like, what's the difference between a project and an album?
Yeah. Then you got to be like, what's a project versus the EP and an LP versus the mixtape versus this versus that versus the single versus the maxi single. That's a term you ain't even heard.
See, I'm not that deep into it. Does it got like 7 songs on it, 8 songs, right? Okay, so let's say I'm a rapper, right? Or I know someone who wants to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the first thing that a rapper should be doing if they want to start a professional career?
I don't know. It depends on the person. Because like truthfully, like I said, if it's a person who just like, there's no one set formula to anyone. If I were to give you this is the formula, I would first say that you need to understand the business. You need to go create your business infrastructure. Number one.
Okay.
Do you like, there's a lot. You want to talk about a lot to unpack with
Absolutely.
that.
Let's unpack it though. We got an hour, right? So so understand the business. Help me understand the business of music, because it's obviously not what it once was, right? Streams are way different than album sales and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does the music business like look like today? Like, as an artist, how can you make money as an artist if you're not selling physical, albums anymore?
I would first ask why you're not selling physical albums, because to be truthful, in order for me to help artists like to get to where they need to be, I have a very high standard of accountability.
Okay.
Like there's an artist that I'm working with right now. I only manage one artist. His name is Ty Fontaine.
Hey.
He got a single, Adventure Time. Viral single is dropping officially this Friday, the 9th. So, and Ty is streaming very well. Like, been streaming very well, has done so for quite some time. However, Ty also sells physical copies. He's working on a vinyl that is in order right now. So, why wouldn't I feel like a lot of artists took the DSP and streaming boom and use it as an excuse to get lazy, to be honest.
Right.
Like, you feel as though we can get in front of these, we can do this, we can do that. You saw the success of other people, not understanding, again, the business behind it and what went into it. And now say, I just do this. And now the DSPs are overloaded. You don't even know how to get in contact with anyone anywhere because you didn't do your market research. If that's the case, this is not business for you. Again, it's a hobby. That's it.
Okay. So if they're not interested in learning and understanding the business of it, right, should probably keep it and leave it as a hobby. Yeah.
Like, like I said, for me, it's just an element of fact, because the people that do this is how I feed my family. This is how people who really do this, we take it seriously. So if you're claiming that you're taking it seriously, but you don't know what's going on, I can't believe anything else that you're saying. And I'm not going to overwork myself trying to explain to you stuff that I learned. Like, it's like a difficult conversation because, it's one thing to be a creative. It's another thing to be blissfully ignorant. And the two are not the same. There are a lot of creatives who really get it and who really study it. So if you've decided that this is just what I'm going to do and I don't care, I'm just going to figure it out, you've decided to go hit your head up on a wall. No one who is informed is going to do that with you.
I 100% agree. Like, if I'm trying to educate you on something and you continue to not do the things that I'm educating you on, I'm probably not going to have a desire to educate you on that thing anymore. Yeah. And it would probably behoove both you and I to say, this is probably where we differ and we probably ultimately need to separate. So if you have an artist, right, and they're doing well, right, they're kind of gaining a little bit of traction and stuff like that. Like, what are some ways that they can kind of continue to get their name out there? Like, social media. Does social media even work? Is there a social media strategy for those different types of things? Like, what does that look like in terms of, I need to get my name out there?
Okay, so again, I am a very not traditional opinion person. So basically, we're going to keep it all the way real. You want to get your name out there. Why? Right? Let's say that you had a song that went viral. This is the conversation that I would have with the artist who actually cares about what they're doing. Okay. I would know and understand For example, I would use Ty. Like, Ty for me was an answer to a prayer.
Okay.
Because the thing that made me, because like, how do I work with you? How do we do such and such? Ty Fontaine knew every element about his business. He knew who got paid, who recorded, who did what the percent was, what the breakdown was, what the timeline on when this contract was supposed to be up, who was the person that did it. When it was time to transfer over, he gave me every single element outline, boom, 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 from himself. Mm-hmm. Like,
how did he learn that?
Because it's his business. It's his business to know. And then on top of it, the music was fire.
Right.
And then his personality and his structure and his infrastructure, his whole plan was to make sure that he took care of the Tide. The Tide is his collective. That's the group. So when we started talking about that, he was like, this is my community. This is what I've done. This is how I build. This is the breakdown in the matter of this is the person that I'm reaching out to. This is the demographic. These are the kind of consistent people that I have. This is the group that I have to work with. Mm-hmm. You don't even understand that if you are not paying attention to what your music is doing.
Right.
You don't understand that if you don't honor the content that you're putting into the people that you're about to put this music out into the world with.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like, you want to get your name out there more, but why? His answer is very simple, because these people have watched me come up. They have supported me. These are people who have been fans of mine for the past 4 or 5 years. I know that they enjoy this. I know that they like this kind of content. Then it becomes not me putting my name out there. If you're doing your job, your name is already out there.
Okay.
So what you're doing is, this is what I want to do for these people. This is how I want to give back. This is how I want to connect. This is what I want to do for them.
So having a why is something that's super important to you, because there has to be reason as to what's going to keep you motivated, what's going to keep you inspired. There has to be something that's bigger than them that's navigating and kind of pushing this whole thing that they want to do, right?
Yeah.
So okay, I like that. Got to have a why. Okay, so oh my goodness, what was my question? Goodness gracious, I had a good one too. Okay. Okay, all right. So have you ever turned down working with someone?
Yes.
Tell me why.
All the time. I've turned down working with people. I've turned down money because, number one, you can't pay to work with me. Like, I'm not like a buyable asset.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And there's things that just don't align with me.
Okay.
Like, period. Like, if it's something that at the end result, I cannot feel confident, I will not be at peace with it, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And I've had to grow into that space, because that I used to be in a space where I wanted to just do, and I kept trying to prove and show my value. And like, you know, I don't know what kind of platform this is necessarily, but I speak about God and my relationship with him 100%. And God really sat me down and he was like, let me get this straight. My validation is not enough. Because this person doesn't understand, because this person is doing this, Y, and Z. My validation, the fact that I gave this to you, that I trusted you with this, is not enough for you. And when I heard that very clearly, I stopped.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about that. It's like, it's truly, what is it that when I go to my Father and ask, because I know that's how I process, that's how I do my work for every single person.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So he told me that he knows the desires of my heart. He told me that if I set my eyes on him, if I do everything that I set my hand to do as though I'm doing it pleasing unto him, that I can trust in that and that he will honor that. So if it's not something I would feel comfortable taking to my Father and saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is what I have, I need illumination in this, I need to know the next step. Like, if I can't do that, I'm not taking it there. Like, it's not even worth it. There's no amount of money that makes that worth it.
Right. So one of the things that people can request from you is prayer requests.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, first off, this is dope. Second off, how did you, or when did you, or did you always have that type of faith relationship? Or like, was that something that you had to like grow into? Because I remember we used to go to church when I was a kid, right? You know, but I never really paid attention and stuff like that because we were in kids' church and all of that stuff.
Right.
When I got to college, I went to a Catholic university. We had to go to church, and we was in Catholic church. So it was a whole bunch of like on your knees, stand up, pray on your knees, and then I'm like, what is happening? But we was in and out of there in an hour. Loved it. Very opposite of black church. But then I went after I graduated, didn't go to church anymore. After like 5 years of post graduation and not going to church, I went to a church for the first time. Somebody invited me, and the singer started singing, and I just started crying. And I was like, what the? They handed me tissues. I'm like, what? I'm good. What? I'm straight. Like, what's happening right now? Like, I was like, all right, I got to get my thug back. You know what I'm saying? Thugs cry.
The tears of Christ.
Right. So I left, and then I talked about it. I came back. She started singing again. Didn't get me this time. I was like, I'm good. The preacher started preaching, and I started crying again. I was like, what is happening? Yo, I'm like, this is 2 weeks in a row. I don't even know these people. And they've seen me 2 weeks in a row crying in church, and I'm like, I'm completely fine. And it was at that moment where I really started to take my faith walk serious. And I'll tell you another moment after you tell me, like,
well, two things. I did tell you, like, my favorite, and I don't even say the word lucky, I don't believe in luck, but 22 is my favorite number. And a friend of mine who's a preacher's son told me about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, I saw something when I was working on a campaign, and it popped his name up twice. And when I called him about it, he was like, the number 2 means that God is trying to speak to you. And I've gotten that confirmed in a few different other places from other people. So the fact that happened to you twice is definitely something for me. I'm like, okay, you got him? You got him. Okay, good. Make sure he heard it. You heard it.
Listen, got me good.
That's good. So, so in terms of like my faith, I've been in a very, I grew up in the church, raised in the church my whole life. I just turned 32 in December.
Hey, happy belated.
Thank you. And I think these past, like where I am today has been a work of the Holy Spirit over the past 8 months.
Okay.
And when it says that he who started a good work in you is faithful to complete it, I'm far from completion. And my life has transformed in a way that I don't even recognize parts of myself.
Right.
And it's funny because I love it so much. Like, I would have never thought that I would be like how I am.
Yeah. And
the Holy Spirit was just so patient, and is always so patient and so comforting because he holds the standard of truth. But I tell my friends this as well. When you hear that inner voice and it's like an accusatory voice, or it's something that's putting you down, or it's derogatory, that is not how our Father speaks to us.
Yeah.
That is literally adversary inside trying to hold your mind captive.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you understand the voice of God, when you understand and hear it, it does give you that emotional overflow. I said the tears of Christ because that's something where that Holy Spirit that is in us, that's him. So even when our mind or our emotion or the construct of who we prop ourselves up to be, like, when he speaks to you, he gonna pop that bubble, and it's like, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who's around, what's happening, you know when you hear your Father's voice.
Yeah.
So I commend you for that, and I'm really happy for you.
I wasn't afraid to lean into it. I think sometimes people are afraid to lean into it. Well, let me correct that. I wasn't afraid to lean into that moment. It did take me a while to like fully trust him with what he said he was going to do in my life. I had another instance, like, and after this instance, like, I've seen people like pass out and stuff like that in church. And sometimes, I'll be like, I don't know. Because I'd never experienced it, but I always respected it because I'm like, if that's your experience, then that's completely fine. Like, because I don't know nothing about it. Right. So if I don't know anything about it, I can't knock it, but I don't know. There was one time caught me crying again in church again. But I had my students with me, that I was a program manager over a youth shelter with kids. Right. And so, I fell out in church with them. And then I went back to my seat and church was over. And he was like, all right, come on, Mr. Jeff. And I was like, I can't move. I was like, I literally could not move from my seat. And after like 15 minutes, I was able to move. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I couldn't move. She said, God wasn't done with you yet. There was still something in there that he needed
to break up.
Yeah, right. And you needed to be grounded in that moment. And I was like, yo, what?
And it's humbling as well, because you were in a position of power. So it might not have even been just like I said, I'm not even sure the children that was around you. Children are very powerful.
Right.
And I think that as we get older and we mature in our adulthood, we think, oh, we are over them. But when a child called to you, you could not move.
I couldn't move.
Right? And so you're in this position as the authority. You're over them. You're watching them. But God uses people to call. So your mom's statement to me really resonates, because I feel like you being humbled in that moment in front of them, there's a child, there's something that they took away from that they needed to see. They needed to see you be able to be. And then you needed to see yourself not being able to move, to start asking them like, well, what's going on? What is it? And then have that time, in your quiet time, like, Lord, like, what was going on over there?
Right. I thought it was over. I was like, yo, I know this ain't the end. I was like, yo, like, why couldn't I move? I'm telling you, I was stuck. I like literally be still. Like I really couldn't understand, and I couldn't fathom what was going on in that moment. And it was at like those small little things at that time were things that were kind of leading me to desiring a better relationship with him, because at that point, I didn't have anything in my life to lean on. And so the only thing that I felt like I could lean on was him, right? So for you, what has your faith relationship been like?
I went from like a head knowledge.
Okay.
Like I could give you like, oh yeah, a church goer that was lukewarm.
Okay. Okay.
To being someone who has an intimate relationship with Jesus, to on fire, to clear, to focused, and able to actually walk in the power of love and not just be a person who gets it but doesn't know how to activate it or inspire it in other people. And that has been like nothing I've ever experienced.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what's your home church now?
From the Heart.
From the Heart. Okay. Where's that at?
So we have a few locations
Really?
all over. Yeah. So we have one that's our main location. The home church is on Allentown Road.
Okay.
Right across from Andrews Air Force Base. We also have expansion locations in DC and Waldorf.
Okay.
So I typically bounce between the DC and the home location.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go see TD Jakes at First Baptist of Glenarden?
I did not.
You did not? Have you ever went there? Did you know that he comes every year there?
No, I mean like a loose knowledge of it, but it's not like in my calendar of events.
Okay. Yeah. So like I wanted desperately to like see, because I had seen like I see his stuff online and stuff like that all the time, but I wanted to see him live. I'm like, yo, to see him, because as a speaker, I'm like, I want to learn from him. I want to learn, what he does, small innuendos and stuff like that. Like when I teach my students who want to be speakers, I tell them to go and watch other people speak, but don't just go as an attendee, also go as a student, because you want to see how they talk to people, how they converse, what are their mannerisms, what is their conversation like. And I went, and I was very disappointed in TD Jakes. I was very disappointed because he spent 80% of his time speaking to the people here and here and here, and 20% of the time speaking to us. He literally was like this the whole time, and then turn this way, and then turn this way. And I was like, why do you, what, like,
is that where the cameras were?
They had cameras all over. It's First Baptist of Glenarden is huge. They had the floating camera in the middle of the joint. So it was even hard for the camera people to get the angles because he was talking to these people over here so much. I'm saying that to ask you, what makes a pastor have a particular impact on you? Like, what makes a good pastor to you? Like, what are some things that you look for in a good pastor?
So the Holy Spirit, that's really it.
Okay.
The Bible tells us to try the Spirit by the Spirit. And I think that's, something that has a lot of depth that a lot of people kind of glaze over.
Okay.
We associate spirits with kindred spirits, or, we're twin spirit, whatever the case is. Like, all these different spirits. Even alcohol is called spirits, right? Because it turns you into whatever. But if you actually think about it, how many Holy Spirits is there?
One. Right.
So you know it when you hear it, and you know it when you don't.
That's a good point.
That's it.
That's a great point. I could not deny that. Yeah. So recently, to change the subject a little bit, recently you won an award.
I did.
Yes. Okay. DMV 35 under 35.
Yes.
Okay. What was it like for you to be announced as one of the winners for that award?
So it made me very happy. I was one of a handful that received the People's Choice Award, which means that we had the most votes. But for me, it was very special because what I do is for the people, and more importantly, the DMV community is my home.
Right.
And so for me, this is my Grammys. This is my whatever. And I love that because I know the people that created it. I know the intentionality behind it. I know people that are on the list, people that were on the list before me, people that I'm thinking like who I can recommend next year, like already, because I'm just super grateful that within my community, this recognition came. And for me, that's literally why I do this. So I was very happy. Yeah. And it was like around my birthday, I think, at the same time. So I was like, oh, yeah, good me. So it was pretty fun.
I love it. So with congratulations first and foremost. That was one of the first things that I saw about you and stuff like that, and I was like, wow. Did you when you're setting out to do what you're doing, right? Are you trying to win awards, or are you doing it just because you love to do it and the rewards are nice?
Yeah, I love what I do.
Okay.
I love what I do because I've done it for free. I've done it without recognition. I've done it without visibility.
Right.
Awards are a happy bonus, and the award concept for me is like other people knowing the star that I see. Like for Ty, we're going to get awards. We're going to get plaques. I'm claiming that for him because he deserves it.
Right.
Not just because he's talented, but because the ethics, the heart in his labor overall, he has the effort that produces award-winning results.
Right.
And for me, that's fine. Like, but I know that Ty will do this because he loves it. Like, we love what we do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. I said to myself, like recently I was battling something internally where I'm like, dang man, am I getting recognized for the work that I'm doing and stuff like that? And I had to have a conversation with myself and just say, is that the reason why you're doing it though? Is it to be recognized, or is it the impact that you're having on people because of the work that you're doing? And I really had to sit down with myself and say, it's because of the impact that I'm able to make, right? Like, yeah. You and I are similar in that fashion of we may not be the world changers ourselves, but we want to be a part of the spark that helps someone else do something that could inspire, impact, change the world, right?
Yeah.
Like those are some of the things that I'm always looking for in people. Like I want to see other people do well, because I live by the principle that the more you can help other people get what they want, the more you can have what you want. And I've learned that over time is that all like good, like I'm such a huge believer in good karma. And I believe that if I just put out more and more good karma, and if I just do more and more stuff for other people, things will happen for me naturally. And they have happened for me naturally. And so I really had to have a conversation with myself throughout this process and say, Jeff, don't forget why you're doing it. It's not for the awards. Granted, they are nice, but it's not for that. It's much bigger than that. So that was the reason why I asked you that question. So you work with a couple of radio stations. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. Well, so 95.5, I work with DJ Reds. He's there. And a lot of it is just me learning and just showing up and do what I do.
Gotcha.
I have friends that are connected to other stations. So 93.9, 92Q, DTLR radio. I have a few people on the West Coast, a couple of folks in Atlanta that I work with for like different interviews or pushing records. But yeah.
So how did you how did you go about like getting these connections? Because like I know those are really, really big and I'm asking this because I want people to understand the importance and the power of networking. And the reason that networking is so huge and so important as artists, as entrepreneurs, as creatives.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, a lot of times I just show up like I just literally, the P stand for pop up, and people know that, but they've connected with me in other spaces. So like, for example, with WPGC, I literally just said, Rez, I just want to learn what you do. Like, can I come hang out with you? Because he doesn't need me to do anything. Like, he's been doing this for quite some time, but he's gracious enough to share this particular day of his schedule to allow me to just kind of be around and teaching me things and educating me.
Yeah.
And in that process has been some good reciprocity where we just have some great fellowship. And so I've just been really appreciative of that. Like I said, DJ Aladdin the Prince, he is with a few different places. He also has his own platform. He and I have worked together for events. I've been able to spend time getting to know him and just enjoying that fellowship as well. So he and I have connected on different things. Fathom, same thing with DTLR. He has hosted a few different things that I've done. He's attended things that I've done. We just established a rapport and a friendship. And then anything that I need or like questions, I ask them, so that's really all it is in terms of relationships. Like, people are not dumb, so you genuinely care. Like, they know when you care. They know when you don't. They know when you're just around, especially in this industry. And especially as a woman, because these men, they see it all day. They get all types of stuff from every different angle. And it's like, to have someone that they know is genuinely just like, what's up? Like, how are you? Like, I don't need anything. Like, I don't ask for anything. If I do want something in terms of like knowledge or education, I'm very clear on it and say, hey, this is what's going on. Are you open to doing this? Is this something?
That's the big part right there. Like, I would much rather you just come up front what it is that you need, as opposed to I remember I literally had to send an email, or I text my assistant and just asked her. I was like, hey, does it offend you that I don't say good morning sometimes and I just like get straight to it? She was like, no, it really doesn't offend me. I was like, okay, well, it like, if at any point, because I'm a like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 as opposed to a good morning. You know what I'm saying? And some people like that good morning. And if that's what you like, then I can make sure that I do that. I don't want to, I don't want to offend you or anything like that. So I had to make sure that I definitely do that. But so are you open to working with more artists, or is Ty like the one artist that you want to work with right now?
So I do work with other artists.
Okay.
I only manage Ty, and I manage Ty because I'm not an artist manager. But in terms of Ty is a very special case, and he's very unique. So what I do is called campaign management.
Okay.
So if you have a project that you want consultation and support services on, if you are trying to get into music and you want to do it properly, you want to have the rights and royalty management structure, you want to understand distribution, you want to be able to have marketing, you want to be able to have a plan, okay, then I can work on that. So in that capacity, I do work with other artists. The one caveat with that is I have niched myself into a very particular box.
Okay.
As far as I'm not promoting, supporting, helping, building, furthering in any way, shape, or form any content that is derogatory, that is negative, that is poisonous at all.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and listen to your song. If I can't play it in my car with my children, my grandmother, and my pastor, then I'm probably not going to be the one for you. That's what I would say. So, you know, and that's just it. Like, there's plenty of other people that be like, oh, no, that's cool. One thing about it, my team, myself, we have taken people who had absolutely no listenership whatsoever. And my girl, I talked about this story, Brina. I love Brina. She is taking an artist who had never dropped a project before. Mm-hmm. And the first project charted. You get what I'm saying? So I chose my side. I stand very firmly on my side. Okay. And anyone who on that side, you know, we about that action. Let's get it. If not, there's more fish in the sea.
If not, there's more fish in the sea. If not, there's more fish in the sea.
More than fish in the sea.
No, I love it. Okay. So what's next for P? Like, what can we expect next from you? What can we expect next from Ty? How do we get Ty on the podcast though? Like, do I talk to you about that?
Yeah, for sure. Ty's he's moving around a lot these days because we are gearing up for, like I said, his album. His album Ascension 2 is coming out this year. That's the plan. People have waited for about 2 years for this album. He's really put a lot of thought and effort into it. Planning for him to be touring and doing a lot of other stuff. We were planning to go out to the Grammys, but both of us were like, look, we got this.
Focus.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going to do the Grammys again next year.
Yeah, he got multiple invitations. And it was beautiful. It was really a poetic moment because it was like, we were super excited about this, but at the same time, this is a celebration. And like Kobe said, game not over yet. Like, this right here is a pivotal moment for us. This project is, I believe this project is going to be very pivotal. So we just decided to focus on that. But yeah, he's going to have a lot of stuff coming. He has, like I said, Adventure Time is coming out on the 9th. He will be touring. We're looking to kind of start that probably like in May. A lot of great content and just really understanding what I mean by strategy and rollout. We have some cool stuff. I'll show you like a preview offline of one of the things we're working on. And it's just like really exciting. Yeah. It's an exciting time. So aside from that, my partners and I have our different event series that we're coming up with. We have our anniversary show in Atlanta for The Ark. Have you ever heard of The Ark?
I have not heard of The Ark.
So The Ark is a Christian club.
Okay.
Christian club / concert, but it's a Christian club that started in Atlanta. That's what it is. And it was basically like, we are young people. We like to dance. We like to do whatever. Yeah. And God never told us we can't do this. So created a structure where people come and they party. Like, they're partying, but it's pure. Like, there's no alcohol, no smoking, no drinking, no nothing that will pervert the space, so to speak.
Right.
And just allowing people to come and have fun. It's gone viral. People have started
a Christian club. Okay.
Oh yes. Like if you really think about it, right? When Jesus was teaching people, he's doing it in front of hundreds and thousands. Yeah. Like, he was an event producer. Like, he was putting on stuff where people was eating. You know what I'm saying? Feeding, making them married. Like, they was having conversation. It was a whole production. People was getting healed, and they were receiving the word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the truth. Hey. So, I'm just saying, we are far from Jesus, but...
the promoter. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, it's like, it's a real space. It's a real Just beautiful, beautiful time. It's a lot of fun. There, you want to talk about deliverances? Deliverances have happened there. People definitely get hands laid on them in Jesus' name. You know, like not the fighting kind, but it's been really, really nice. We had a New Year's Eve show that has gone viral on several different platforms.
Nice.
The music is hip hop, R&B, Afro beats. You got a little bit of, you got everything. Anything that you can imagine is there. And it's beautiful.
So when's the next one for that?
So March. We just talked about it.
Okay, so sometime in March.
Yeah, March is the anniversary date.
Okay.
I do have the date, but I don't think we are saying it yet.
Okay, I got you.
We do have the date.
I got you. Okay, so in March, be on the lookout for the Ark.
Yeah, and the gospel brunch, we're going to bring it to DC. It's been happening in Atlanta.
Brunch.
Oh yeah, come on,
What's
be
the
for real.
Brunch?
The gospel brunch is a brunch. Like it's a brunch. It's a party. It's like the Ark in a bite-sized capsule. Instead of going to church and then going to brunch and then be forgetting what's happening.
Right.
You're gonna go to church and then we going to brunch and you're gonna be like, I should start it here. Like, it's a vibe.
Okay.
Like, it's really a vibe.
What we eating at the brunch, though? Like, and who's cooking at the brunch?
So, the same
that's thing. That's very important.
We have partnerships with restaurants. First of all, it's Atlanta and it's DC. Like, brunch culture is a big deal.
It could still go wrong. We know some brunch spots in DC that... No. The event can't go wrong. I'm saying there's some brunch spots in DC that,
it's going to be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it.
I like to eat. Jordan like to eat. Jordan be sitting on them people furniture. Every time I said, get off them people couches, Jordan. But I like it's a turn up. That's what it is. It's young people partying. Like that's it.
I love it. So you've created and been a part of creating a community where Christians can kind of get together. They can have fun. They can have a good time. They don't have to feel like, I can't be myself in this space, or I mean, obviously you're being who, you're being who you're called to be, but I don't have to, I can kind of let my hair down a little bit here and have a good time.
So, and I'll just tell you like a brief story about this, because what happened was I'm doing events here and I just got to a place where I just felt this heaviness that I could not escape. And I was like, God, like this is not it. Like I can't take it no more.
Right.
I can't take it no more. I was in a very, very dark space, a very, very low time. And I remember just being like, nah, this ain't it. And during that time is when I got connected to Jordan, because God had put on my heart. He was like, well, I asked you to do this like last year to create something for me. Like you're running around using your skills, your resources, your network, the stuff that I gave you. You're running around doing it for everyone else. And you're wondering why you're so tired and why it's not working, because that's not why I gave it to you. So I was like, all right, cool. So I had an event series in my mind. I was like, I've never seen this. I don't know what this looks like. I have no clue. Google it, didn't see nothing. So I'm like, all right, anything that I found was like inside of a church. And we're like, that's not the aesthetic, because this is not for church people. This is for the wounded church people, the people like us, the people who have been in church or had these experiences where the people in church pushed others out. It's for those people. Where are those people? Right? So I was in my room. And in my mind, it was like a Christian karaoke. I don't mind saying it because, I hope it plants a seed in somebody's heart to go do. So I was like, I want to do a Christian karaoke. I said, I want to do it like this, but I want to make it in a way.
That would be fire. I want to karaoke.
But look, I was like, I want to make it in a way where people don't see it coming necessarily. Right? I said, so how can I package this? So I work in TV, I work in movies, film, etc. So I was like, all right. I started searching up Christian movie scenes from pop culture movies. Okay. So like the Medea church scene when "Woman Thou Art Loose," right?
Okay.
So I searched "Father, Can You Hear Me?" That's my jam. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Father, Can You Hear Me?" I had my whiteboard, I had my candle lit, I had my little markers. I was like, Holy Spirit, what's that? Like, what we doing? Like, what we doing? Because I'm not clear. Instructions very much unclear. Like, I need. What's the step?
Some more direction.
So then YouTube, off of that one song, gives me on a playlist that leads me all the way from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning.
Goodness gracious.
And I'm over there writing notes.
That play next button is...
And it was like, then it went to the...
recommendations.
Man, it went to the Keke Palmer thing with Queen Latifah. It went to the Scene in Holes. It went to this. It went to that. And now it's a whole curated playlist of gospel/Christian music packaged up in movies that anyone who's been around in the last 10 to 20 years knows.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. So I had my scriptures like written out because that's how I like create foundation of anything that I'm playing. I'm like, what is the principle behind what I'm doing?
Sure.
So 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm on the internet. Mind you, at this point, I never heard of a Christian club, never been, never seen it. There is a viral video from the Ark in Atlanta. And I'm like, what is this? Like, literally never saw it. Sent a message to the page. At the time, didn't know that Jordan was on the page. He ends up seeing it like 2 o'clock the next day when I'm at work flipping out. And I don't mean like no Christian flip out. I mean like it was bad. It was real bad. This is before he came and saw about me and created this transformation. Right. This was pre-transformation.
Okay.
This was in need of the blood of the lamb. Oh my soul says yes. That was that moment. And then I went back in the office, sat down, go look at my Instagram, and Jordan had responded. And I sent my number to him. He FaceTimes me instantly, which I remember I was in shambles.
Right.
And me and him talked. It was like a 2-hour conversation probably. And it's been nothing but love ever since.
Wow.
So I went as an attendee to the Ark because I had to remove like my business mind from it because it was something that was drawing me.
Yeah.
And that moment that you're talking about with being into the whole weekend, I was just crying. Just imagine being in the club just crying. Like ugly crying the whole time.
Viola Davis.
Oh my goodness. Like the whole weekend. Like I felt like
What's your favorite Christian movie?
My favorite Christian, Passion of the Christ.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because
tell me. I'm
gonna tell you why.
Watch him get whipped.
No, like it's not an enjoyment standpoint.
Right, of course.
It's the reason that's my favorite movie is because I watched it in the movie theater with my family, and it was the first time that I felt the Holy Spirit speaking to me through a film, and I cried. I cried about that movie because I was like, you really did that for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, you really, really love me.
Yeah.
And even in what I've done throughout my life, even in the places of my life where I've fallen short and I've gotten off track, to know that even this cinematic effort to relay the message of what you did, it barely scratches the surface. And this right here, you get what I'm saying? Bro.
I got you. Okay. That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, really?
Yeah. Not like, oh yes, with him again. Like, no.
I'm like, that you enjoyed that part of the...
No, it's the passion. Like, I love my P words. And it's like, that for me gave visual context to something that when you read it, like, you don't get it. Like, you don't really get it. And then when you see someone's attempt to help you see it, it's like... And then once the Holy Spirit like illuminates it further, and it's just like, and the part for me, this was in my devotions the other day, was that he chose to do it. Like, he intentionally did it. Went through every part. Let it be, like he let it be. The same way that Mary has said in her conception of him, let it be done unto me as you have spoken. Jesus himself allowed his Father's will to be done through him. He allowed himself to go through that for me, for you, for people who don't even acknowledge his existence. He doesn't even care. He still did it. Anyway, he would have done it if only one person was going to be saved. He would have done it.
Right.
If the whole entire world but one was going to accept it,
would have still done it.
He would have still did it.
So my favorite movie, Christian movie, is the gospel. I actually need to rewatch it again because it's been like 3 months. It's been over 3 months since I've seen it. I try to watch like every 3 to 6 months or something like that. Just because I love the story, and it's the age old gospel story that you know, singer grows up in the church. Something happens, they go and become an R&B singer, and then they come back to the church, right? We've seen that story thousands of times. But it's something about that story that I just absolutely loved. I love the music in it, stuff like that. I love the acting, and I think Boris Kodjoe did a really good job. Even though when I first saw that movie, I swear I thought Boris Kodjoe was singing all of them lyrics. He was not singing any of them.
He's a wonderful actor.
A wonderful actor. Shout out to Boris Kodjoe for making me believe that you were actually singing. I was like, dang, this dude can sing. Definitely did not think that he was lip syncing that whole entire time. You know, one of my other favorite Christian movies is a Disney movie though.
Okay.
Let It Shine.
Let It Shine.
With Tyler James Williams, Coco Jones, and Trevor Jackson, as well as the sisters. What's the sisters with the dreads? Little Mermaid.
Oh, Haley and Chloe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've never seen that movie, Let It Shine? Mm-mm. Oh, how you have a son? You have a daughter?
I have both.
You have both. Mm-hmm. How old are they?
8 and 9.
8 and 9. Watch on Disney Channel tonight.
Okay.
On Disney Plus.
Okay.
Let It Shine.
Let It Shine.
It's a rap movie.
Okay.
They're rap battling in the movie, and the last rap battle is like Papa Doc versus Eminem at the end. Swear to you, I'm telling you, it's like Papa Doc versus Eminem at the end, and I know the whole battle.
Oh, you really like this
oh
movie.
My goodness.
Now I need to hear it.
Listen, I know when I tell you, I never thought that I would be number one into a Disney movie this much, but then a Christian Disney movie, when I tell you, I know the whole, I know his part, and they go back and forth. I know the whole battle. When I tell you that joint is fire.
Okay.
Oh right, my goodness. I'm
gonna watch it. I'm gonna tag you. I'm like, this movie is crazy.
Nah, hey, listen, look. Come on now. You gotta watch that joint. I'm telling you, you gotta watch that joint. That joint is going to be fire, and I'm telling you, your kid's gonna be in that joint like this.
No, my 100%. I believe it.
And it's all
those
gospel
are my
rap.
A&Rs. That's how they listen and critique music.
Then I'm telling you, they are going to enjoy. And I want to know who they think won the battle at the end for real. As opposed, not the person that they gave the trophy to, but who they really think won the battle, and then why. That joint is going to be fun.
Sounds good. They gonna love this. Now I gotta go buy popcorn because it's the whole production. Anytime that we have a movie night, especially where music is involved. Oh yeah,
kids! I want y'all to in the comments, tell me how y'all like the movie. Okay, tell me how y'all like the movie. Rate it from 1 to 10. 10 being fire, 1 being super ice cold.
You're gonna have to hashtag Disney on here, and we have to tag them.
Yes, 100%. Let It Shine is a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay. What's something inspirational that you can kind of leave us with? Something inspirational that you can leave us with. I want you to think about that, and then I'm gonna do my little spiel real quick. So first off, thank y'all for getting to this point of the episode. We definitely want y'all to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. I got the reminder up there to do it in the beginning, and I still don't do it. But it's about habit. So I got to do that. But definitely like, comment, subscribe. Send this to somebody else. I trust that this was able to inspire you, encourage you. There was a lot of in my bag moments for artists. Listen to what P is saying when she talks about how you have to understand the business of what it is that you do. If you don't desire to understand the business, it is most likely going to be a hobby. And I promise you, I'm going to start saying that to more of y'all. I'm at the point now where I can't be so nice because I have so many different events and stuff like that that's going on, and I need y'all ready. I need y'all prepared. When I ask you to send me a video of something that you've done, don't send me a poem. Don't send me the script of the poem. I don't read it like you would read it. And also, don't send me a file that I have to download. Send me a YouTube link. YouTube is free. All right. So listen to what she's saying when she's talking about falling in love with not only the art, but as well as the business. You ready? You gonna leave us out on something good? Okay.
Well, it's comes from the Bible.
Come on now.
Of course.
Amen.
But definitely, I would say be the light.
Okay.
One of my favorite scriptures, it says, where sin abounds, grace does much more abound.
Mm-hmm.
And we love to just kind of bypass that when it comes to the industry. Oh, it's so dark, it's so this, it's so that. Well, that's an opportunity for you to look and see where the greater is. And if you don't truly see it, just be it. From your content, from what you put out, educating yourself so that you're putting out the best of you. I do not ascribe to the belief that music is just an outlet. Nothing is just anything. And if you're using this as an outlet for the evil that you've experienced or the derogatory things that you've experienced, I would say you have to make that decision between a hobby or business, right? Because if, in fact, you're using this as an outlet and you want to put that music out there, that means that you're unleashing all that hurt, all that pain, all that drama into the world.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about karma, that's a thing where a personal outlet for you then becomes a burden for many. And there's a lot of people who can commiserate. Yeah, they feel it. Oh, yeah, I did that. But did you leave them with something that allows them to heal? Did you leave them with something that allows them to see the light on the other side?
I like that.
Or did you just say, yeah, we can all be sad together because we're experiencing these things? And creating that opportunity through whatever your medium is, whether it's paint, whether it's poetry, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's whatever, leave people with something that they can take away to heal.
I love it. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all know the motto here. Y'all know the motto here. Y'all been with us for a long time. The motto is and forever will be always stay in your bag so you never gotta chase a bag. Until next time, good people.
Yes. Thank you.